Okay, I got my stove moved in here. I used the forks on the tractor. Lifted it up in place here. It's pretty close. What I did as a review here is we put the commercial roofing steel we had with spacers, metal spacers, moved out 2.5 inches from our 5/8 fire coat drywall. And I bent aluminum to cover the drywall that I formed over the base of the sill in the front. So everything is metal. And then I did the ceiling also. So everything is all, what should I say, reflector, kind of like a heat shield. And now what I want to do is I want to hook up this wood stove. So I took the insulated triple wall reducer from our 6-inch stainless thimble triple wall, reduced it down to the 6 inches and put this heavy duty elbow on it that I had, and I put 2 zip screws in it, took my little torpedo leveled it both directions so I know that's where it goes. It's going to move the stove a little farther from the wall, which is okay. What I wanted it closer to the wall, but I didn't want to worry about too much heat in this area. And if I stoke a fire and I'm cranking on that thing, you know, I don't want the wall to get warm. So this is fine. Moving it this way is okay because our lift is over here. I didn't want to come this way any farther than we had to. We still have a side clearance from the metal to the edge of the stove about 6 inches. And then, like I said, it's 2.5 inches off the fire coat drywall. And, you know, it's a shame we painted that 2 coats and everything, but it seals it, you know. So now we can measure from here to the edge of the pipe. We got about 14 inches. Now I measure down here and we've got almost 14 inches. The back to the back is 14 inches. And this is 15, so I got to slide it back just a little. I want to get this lined up as straight as possible. That's just about 14. So now we got to put our black pipe from here to here. I took this door off when I moved it in because I didn't want to damage the door. And I do want to put a damper in the flue, and then I want to put a temperature gauge on that. Let me get some more parts out. So I got a black, pretty thick gauge 2-foot pipe. It's the only size they had. Now these all have a seam on them. They're hard to snap together. I kind of like the seam not to be seen. And then they go down into the wood stove. You know, some people try to flare them out and set them outside, but the smoke has to be inside because if you get creosote build up, you don't want it leaking out. So they go inside. Each pipe goes up inside. Now, check that for level. That looks pretty good. Now we got to work on the hard pipe. The flange on the pipe is 1.5 inches. So this goes down in the pipe 1.5 inches, and it goes over the front of that 1.5 inches. And I'm not sure why the holes are up so high, because I don't think that pipe was up there, but it was a used pipe. It's pretty heavy. I'll probably put a zip screw in them holes if they're seen. And now we need to get a measurement from there. So I'm going to take the measurement from here and add 3 inches. And we got 18 and 5/8 plus 3. And I'm going to cut this pipe, and then I want to put our 6-inch damper in. So I'm going to cut the pipe, and then I'm going to measure around. I might I might do it first. Snap the pipe together, measure around and get exactly half and half, and slide our damper in it. And I want to keep this, I have a tool that makes this crimp, but I want to save this portion and cut this portion off. So 18 5/8 plus 3, and I'm going to cut that. I'm going to set it on this carpet over here so I don't scratch the tin up, you know. Pretty heavy gauge, but there's no sense of scratching it up. And let's see what we got here. So we wanted 18 5/8, so we want 21 5/8. And we're not cutting a whole lot off. So we're getting rid of 2.5 inches. So I want to mark around this pipe 2.5, so I cut it fairly straight. Stay on my line, you know. And I got this Ryobi, I don't know what it's exactly called, 18 gauge, what's the name of it? It doesn't have a name, but it's I call it a sheet metal cutter, and the thing works pretty good. Probably not as good as a nibbler. I don't know if Ryobi has one of them out. I might buy one. I don't think Ryobi tools are the best out there, but they fit the budget, you know. Connect our dots. Now I want to cut this. And it's going to crimp this piece in just a little bit. What else can you cut that good with? And I can pretty much stay on the line. Variable speed. A lot better than getting nicks and cuts from a set of snips, you know. The hard part is snapping this together, and like I said, you kind of ding that end up a little bit when you cut it. So if we twist this slightly, press it down and start this end 1 inch away, see how much you gotta put pressure on these thicker, heavy pipes. I could probably just start down here and leave it off the end 1/2 inch or so, inch. Press down and deforming it to get it into that groove. That's the hard part. If you ever worked on furnace pipe, you know, it's not easy sometimes. You gotta go down a long ways and deform your pipe. Hear that snap? That get in there? Not quite. Hear that? It's not all the way in. That is. Then we just tap it to line her up square. Little dab more. That's not too bad. And then now we got to try to make our pipe round again. Press down gently. Get it round again, you know. Close as you can. We're nearing the end. I want to start this fire. Today's not a great day to start a fire because it's kind of nice out. It's about 55 degrees, sun's out. But we must test the stove. So now we got to figure out the location we want our damper put in. We have to drill a hole, feed it in there and through. So let's go work on that. Okay, so I got my pipe out here. I've got my sewing ribbon tape here. Measure the circumference of our pipe. It's still not totally round. Get that the best you can, because you have to squash these down to get the pipe to seam in. So let's see what we got here. You can do pi if it's correct, right? Which is what, 3.14 times 6-inch pipe. I've got 19 1/4 inches. And so I want to come down 6 inches. I want to be somewhere in here. And then I want the seam of the pipe to be in the back. So if I turn this 90 degrees this way, and then 19 1/4 inches, that would be 9 5/8, is it? So half of 9 5/8, half of 9, that's 4 1/2. There we go. We'll come around. We'll put our mark. And what was it? 9 5/8. Here's our drill mark. That looks correct. I've got the 3/16 drill bit. And then you want to take and press this in there. See, that's a little bit smaller, so that's good. Let's see how much pushing I got to do. I don't want to kink the pipe down. Maybe I'll wallow it out just a hair. I want a fairly tight fit on it. There we go. There's one. And then from this, we want to go around half of the pipe. So we'll go around again. Nine 5/8. Mark that. Measure down 6 inches. Okay. Before I drill it, let's confirm it that it's the same number around. That way I know I'm in the center. 9 5/8. We are. So we drill that one. Press this in again. I want to kink it, so. There we go. Now, made in India, 6-inch cast iron damper. You gotta press this spring, pull this pin out, and then imperial. Place it in the pipe. This is the hard part, right? You gotta hold on to it. And then start our pin in. You won't be able to see this, but start the pin through the damper. Take it on through. Get our elbow part in there. Do the back side. We can find the hole. I dropped it. We'll start that over again. Shouldn't be too bad to do, but it's got to be more coordinated. Get that through there. Get our elbow in. Don't do these every day, you know. Haven't done one in quite a while. Years. Get our elbow up in there. Probably easier. That's how I dropped it. Is get your elbow in and bring it back up, probably. Maybe. It's close. If you want to bow your pipe slightly out around, it helps too. Like that. There's the hole. Are we in? Now we press our spring in. Like that. There we go. Hear it click. There's our damper. Now we just press our pipe back round again. Get it as round as possible. I'll have to vacuum up my little metal chips here. That looks pretty good. I like it. So let's take her over to the stove. Okay, I brought my damper in. Just like my spring over here. Alright, and then we want to put it into our stove, put our seam in the back. That fits pretty good. Then we got to put this on, but I put these screws in this in the beginning to make sure that I was lined up plumb, straight, all that. So I got to pop these screws off or we'll never get this together. These are self-tapping stovepipe screws. Little package of them I got. And then take them out. Pull our elbow off. We'll probably go ahead and put our elbow in this because it'll be harder to do in the air. Same thing, I want to put my pipe toward the back. They normally don't line up exact. So what I like to do is take and crimp that end in a little bit. Let me grab a pair of pliers. I grabbed the smallest ones I could find. Look at them. Oh, I always trip over this little 2x4 I fasten here. When I roll the truck in, I can get within an inch or two from the front of the building with a stop block. So I just take and give these a squeeze, make them as thin as possible. And they go together a lot nicer. And then put our elbow in this one. And I think I want them just a hair off straight so they don't all line up the same. See how nice that goes in there. Not too bad. Yes, it's about 3/4 of an inch off the seam. And does it cover all the holes? It does cover the holes, so that's good. We'll check it here. That's good. So now we can probably ought to go ahead and put my screws in there so it don't fall apart. Probably could do 3. I might do 2. I just don't want my pipes pulling apart. They're self-drilling. Got a little drill bit on them. See if we can get these two together and keep this in a straight line. I'm just thinking what kind of kindling I want to start off with. Get my fire going. I got to come up with something here. Well, that looks pretty good. Lines up pretty nice. So I'll go ahead and screw these together. I want to make sure that it's plumb, straight, like that. Put some more screws in it. And then the damper's fine, they're not going to hit a screw or anything. I don't want my pipes to come apart. You never want them to fall apart. Back in there. And it wouldn't lift up out of the stove. So now, sometimes you have to shift the stove back just enough to pivot it on there, but maybe we'll see here. Well, maybe not. Maybe not. Let's see how my plumbness is here. And that's got to go back. That's good. And then left and right is level. So grab the ladder and give that a shove. Make sure it's in there all the way. There, hear that? It's in. So now, got to put our screws in. Okay, I think I'm going to put in all these fire brick first. That would make sense. We've got a mess of them here. I think there's at least 2 dozen. And I want to orient them in such a way that I can get to my little clean out port and you know, stack them up nice. I got 4 boxes of them here, so I'm just gonna, maybe I'll get a flashlight and I'll lay them in there. And you know, I didn't see how they went. They were already in a box when I picked the stove up. Now, one more little setback is the man handed me some fire brick, but they were not in the stove. So, you know, people don't tell you everything. I think these were in a different stove. I'm not sure there's enough of them, but the dimensions don't fit either way I place them. So I'm going to cut some. Okay, it's finally time. I'm gonna light this up. I threw some dry wood on the bottom, a little smaller on the top, a little bit of kindling. It's a piece of cherry that I sliced on a table saw or something. And I want to pull this damper part out. I want to open my damper on the stove all the way. And let's light this thing and see what happens. I might leave the door slightly open. See what kind of draft we can pull here. You see what we got going on? All the smoke's going up. Let's see if it works. I'm going to hold the door part way open. I'm not sure I got enough kindling in there, but we'll see what happens. I want to go outside and see how much smoke we're drawing. Let's see what's going on, you know. Hopefully, she's going to take right off. Looks like our kindling's starting. I'll keep that mostly closed. Let's head out and see what we got drawn up the chimney. We've got no wind going on, so I'm not sure if that's going to help us or hurt us. As you can see the flame in there, it's taken off. Isn't that a cozy sight? So let's go outside and see what's happening. I don't see any smoke in here. You want to check around things. Pipe's getting warm. Let's head outside. Look at that. We got smoke. It's working good. As you can see the leaves on the tree, there's very little movement. And that's what I wanted to check and see if we got a draft. It's going towards the northeast right now. Looking good. Hey, it's looking good in here. You can see my rolling cart's got wood on it. And we are probably 3 feet from it. So that looks like it's going to work good. Most of the heat should stay in this area. And so I think I'm going to go ahead and put my pegboard back up there to put my large wrenches and things on. I got this stovepipe temperature I'll set on here. If I put it on the flue side, we'll see what she's getting. Let's see if I can touch it. It's probably 120. So, see what we got going on here. Check it out. I'm going to close this right up now. Kind of wish the handle was on this side, but it's not. The only other way would be if I had turned the stove and placed it this way and it'd be out in the room too far. So the lift is way over here where the tire is going to be. So we're going to be 3 feet with the vehicle. So as long as the stove's not cranking super hot, should be okay to park a car next to it. This is a 2-car bay anyway. So let's let this thing go and see what happens. Let's come back in a few minutes. It's been about 5 minutes right now. I'm out across the driveway looking back, checking out our smoke. I don't smell it here on the ground. That's good. Look at a nice fire we got going on here. This is working out great. We got our fireproof wall, our added heat shield. I got my wood stove firewood roller here, 3 feet from it. I can still get a vehicle in here up on the lift, no problem. I've got the damper wide open. I'm running 150, 160 degrees right now. This is working out pretty good. I think this is a win. So thank you for watching this wood stove series. Any of you that were interested, I think this is a safe way to install. Should pass code. You got your proper distances from the wall. Your gasket's good on the stove. We got a nice damper stove pipe. thimble, triple wall pipe. Everything is safe to go. So I should be able to heat this garage up really nice. I'm going to continue this winter, put the insulation in, drywall, trim out the window, do the ceiling, all the way around is what I want to do this winter. But right now, we fit within the clearances of the wood stove. So thank you for watching. We'll see you on the next one.